even though they are organisms of the same species. Now, let us note that when a man marries a woman, the two of them have genes in their body, and their sex cells are the cells that function in reproduction. The sex cell of the male combines with the sex cell of the female, and we say fertilization has taken place. After the fertilization, a zygote will be formed. Now, this zygote combines the features of both the man and the woman. So you will expect that the offspring that is going to arise from this zygote will possess both the features of the man and those of the woman. In other words, because the offspring is having both the features of the man and that of the woman, is going to be in some way different from each of the parents. And genetic studies has also made us to understand that this man, because he has been born by his parents, he also has features of his father and his own mother inherent in him. And this woman also carries features of her own father and mother in her. All of these are combined together. When genes combine and they are passed to the offspring. So not only that the offspring will take features of his or parents alone, but the child will also take features of even the grandparents. And that's why you see today that some children resemble their grandparents a lot. It is because the parents carry the genes of those parents. So the inheritance, genetic inheritance that takes place during conception of children or during formation of zygote is one point that is responsible for variation in organisms. So in other words, what we have said is that genetic inheritance is one of the factors that calls for variation in organisms. And in fact, this is the most important force that is driving variation in organisms. Secondly, we want to mention that sometimes there are changes that will occur in genes. We call this one mutation. Mutation refers to sudden changes or spontaneous changes that occur in genes, perhaps because those genes are exposed to some substances that are generally called mutagens. Substances that bring about sudden changes in genes are called mutagens. So when cells are exposed to mutagens, it is capable of changing the configuration of the performance of those genes. So mutation refers to spontaneous or sudden changes that take place in genes due to their exposure to certain substances that are able to integrate into genes. And that's why today you are warned not to expose yourself to pesticides, not to expose yourself to ultraviolet radiations, not to expose yourself to substances that are capable of some of them are even preservatives in our food. We are not supposed to expose ourselves to them. Why? Because some of them contain free radicals that will integrate into our genes. Now, it has been known that the DNA, for those of us who have heard the word deoxyribonucleic acid before now, each cell of living organisms has a nucleus. And in the nucleus, we have chromosomes. And these chromosomes that are in the nucleus, they bear genes. we have the nucleus. And the nucleus themselves, they contain the chromosome. And the chromosome themselves, they bear the genes. And these genes are what determines traits in organisms. And these genes themselves, they are now made of the deoxyribonucleic acid that is called DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. That's what we call DNA. So when our body or our cells are exposed to, substances that can cause mutation, such substances are able to insert into the DNA because the DNA, contains some weak hydrogen bonds, and they insert into that and change the configuration of that DNA so that the function or the appearance of such genes will be affected. And if such takes place in one organism, it will make that organism to be different from another organism of the same species. So that's the second cause of variation. Now, thirdly, let me just add to it that sometimes the environmental factors also bring about variation in organisms. You know that since the genes or the expression of our characters depends on the environment where an organism is found. A particular organism of the same species could differ from the other because of the environment. For example, these plants, as we look at it, look as if they are grown in the same way. Perhaps because they are planted on the same soil. Now imagine that one of these two plants, one of them is planted on a very good, loamy, fertile soil, and the other one is planted on a very poor soil, which lacks most of the nutrients. Now, the growth and development of these plants will differ, and that will call for greater differences between the two. While the leaves of one will grow very well and perform very well, the leaves of the other one could be very pale, so there could be difference in color, and the growth will also be affected. In other words, the soil, nutrients available to plants of the same species will determine the type or the amount of differences that will be observed. In the same manner, even if you have two identical twins that are growing very well, the same height, the same outlook, and the same morphology, parts of the body, you see them, scarcely will you be able to differentiate. If you put one, maybe perhaps in a year, and you take one, you go and put him or her in Maiduguri and separate them over time, you will discover that after certain years, maybe after a decade, if you bring the two of them together again, there will be more differences, between the two. Why? Because the environment has actually affected the manifestation of their traits in their body. So these three factors are actually responsible for variation in organisms. But let me point it out that only variation that is due to genetic inheritance from parents are heritable. They are the ones that can be carried from one generation to the other. And the only mutations that occur in the germline, that is in reproductive cells, only mutations that occur in reproductive cells could be inherited from parents to their offspring. Now let's go